Chapter 1782. No, aren't they so strong? In the sky, Emperor Sheron made his first move, originally wanting to show everyone his power. But the result disappointed him. Even the aliens of Barada had strange looks on their faces. He was angry. How could he maintain his dignity as the Emperor of Heaven by making a fool of himself in public? Damn it! An angry and ferocious expression appeared on his face, and his superpowers surged out like a storm. The golden superpowers were too terrifying. The power of the bishop level made his superpowers surge out of his body like a golden tide. The power was so strong that Gao Changkong couldn't help but step back a few steps. Only Asiro still held his bare arms and watched it all silently. Emperor Sheron aimed the world-honored heavenly umbrella at the bottom and burst out with a thunderous blow again. This time, he used all his strength. Sure enough, the defensive force fields of those mass-produced machines could no longer withstand the explosion of this terrifying power and were instantly destroyed. Seeing this, the aliens of Barada shouted excitedly. They roared and rushed towards those mechanical life forms. The melee-type aliens went to the front, while the aliens who were good at long-range attacks and auxiliary type supported in the back, with clear division of labor and orderly cooperation. They must crush these stupid robots with their absolutely tyrannical strength. But this self-confidence lasted less than a minute. Soon, they found something wrong. They had never had experience fighting against high-level mechanical life forms. Therefore, they did not understand how strong these guys were. Industrial technology beyond the level of human civilization, strong bodies, fierce laser cannons, and defensive force fields that can withstand attacks from alien energy are simply the nemesis of aliens. The most critical point is that they are not afraid of death at all. How can mechanical life forms die? In this case, unless they fight until their bodies disintegrate and cannot move, they will continue to fight. Most of the alien attacks flying towards the mechanical army in the sky were easily blocked by their defensive force fields. The melee-type aliens rushed over, and the strong ones were able to fight several, or even dozens of them. However, their number of aliens was only more than 100. But there were at least tens of thousands of mechanical life forms in front of them. On average, one person has to fight against hundreds of mechanical life forms. When Zhang Yi and his team faced the mechanical army, they relied on Liu Qi and Snow Owl to successfully win the war. They have the power of 5 Ypsilons. On the other hand, the combat power and preparation of Barada are obviously far behind Zhang Yi's team. Soon, after a reinforcement-type alien with a superpower index of 9,700 points tore 6 mechanical life forms in succession, he was surrounded by a group of mechanical life forms and torn into pieces. A miserable wailing sound came. But the release-type ability users in the distance could only watch helplessly and could not do anything at all. It's broken. They have a special energy shield that can block my superpower attack. A release-type alien shouted in panic. In just 1 minute of contact, 5 or 6 reinforcement-type and orc-type aliens were killed. This terrifying battle loss ratio made the 3 Ypsilon-level aliens who led the team change color. At this time, Zhang Yi's team was taking a car to Samran City. Deng Shintong seemed to have thought of something, and suddenly asked Zhang Yi, "Chaos, have you provided our combat data to the alien organizations in various countries?" Zhang Yi answered casually, "The video images minus our combat scenes. The rest are random and pieced together and given to them." Yang Xinshin said lightly, "At least they can understand what kind of mechanical life forms they will encounter." Deng Shintong asked curiously, "If we minus our combat scenes, then they don't know the combat methods and characteristics of mechanical life forms?" Zhang Yi raised his head and said as if he had just thought of it, "Oh, you are right." He looked at the ice and snow outside the window, and his eyes swept across the lonely and empty everything. "I forgot." Deng Shintong curled his lips. "Forgot? Good forgot. Good forgot." He turned on his smart device and watched the Jiangnan District current affairs news produced by Blizzard City, while whispering, "Those who don't know that mechanical life forms are specially designed for aliens are in big trouble." Even Zhang Yi, who was at the level of White Bishop, couldn't destroy the defensive force field with a single star-piercing cannon. If ordinary aliens encountered it, it would definitely be a nightmare within a nightmare. On the side of the Barada aliens, battle losses continued to occur. The iron-skinned mechanical life forms that were thought to be easy to deal with easily tore through their defenses. The smile on Emperor Shirtian's face slowly disappeared, but just as he was about to go down in person, a huge roar, like a volcanic eruption, came from deep in the earth. Boom! The earth collapsed, and a huge deep pit appeared in the center of the city, and then in front of Emperor Shirtian was an unimaginably huge mechanical arm. When Emperor Shirtian saw this thing, his eyes suddenly sank, and at the same time, a look of extreme excitement flashed across his face. He knew what this was. This was the super-large mechanical life form that Zhang Yi had encountered. This thing had a core device that contained extremely powerful energy. What Chaos could deal with, I could deal with too. He had no time to care about the lives of his men at this moment, because he wanted to hunt this super-large mechanical life form. Azura, Garuda, the miscellaneous soldiers are left to you. I'll deal with this big guy. He turned the world-honored heavenly umbrella in his hand, and the super-large mechanical life form that was more than 200 meters tall in front of him had already crawled out from the ground. Even if Emperor Shirtian was hanging high in the sky, the head of the super-large mechanical life form could look at his existence at eye level. It was too huge. Although it looked a little different from the guy Zhang Yi had fought, it also had 8 mechanical limbs supporting a huge core. If the one Zhang Yi encountered was like an offshore drilling platform, then the one Emperor Shirtian encountered was like a giant spider with tall legs. The spider's head was covered with red compound eyes, which were densely packed and emitted a terrifying red light, like a huge demon crawling out of the demon world. Great, this is really great. No man can resist a huge machine, just like a man likes to watch excavators since childhood. This terrifyingly large, super-large mechanical life form made Emperor Shirtian excited. He has decided that he must get this guy. Okay, you are mine. Emperor Shirtian laughed excitedly, holding the handle of the Tianluo umbrella in both hands, and pointed it at the super-large mechanical life form like a spear. Then, a terrifying energy storm sprayed out along the tip of the umbrella. Like a sharp arrow piercing the sky, the surrounding world turned into a dazzling golden color. The super-large mechanical life form directly deployed a defensive force field in front. The terrifying energy impact on the defensive force field was dispersed to both sides like a water gun shooting on glass. The energy storm swept in all directions, and the thick snow on the ground flew wildly, melted, and evaporated. However, after this blow, the super-large mechanical life form was intact. Emperor Shirtian looked at the scene in disbelief. Can it actually block my attack? But he didn't have time to be shocked, because the side of the super-large mechanical life form facing him, hundreds of red spider-like cores began to burst out dazzling light. Swish! 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 Hundreds of red rays shot out from the compound eyes and instantly arrived in front of Emperor Shirtian. Emperor Shirtian hurriedly exerted force with both hands, and with a bang, he unfolded the world-honored heavenly umbrella. The attacks of the super-large mechanical life form have been completely blocked by him. Fortunately, this level of attack did not cause any harm to Emperor Shirtian. At this time, Gao Chongkong and Garuda saw the casualties below and had to go down to fight in person. Hundreds of people, fighting under the siege of tens of thousands of mechanical life forms, were particularly embarrassed. The more the battle went on, the more frightened Gao Chongkong became. Because even the mass-produced machines that they didn't care about had the ability to perish together with the deputy captain-level aliens. It would be a bit difficult for a deputy captain-level alien to deal with 2 mechanical life forms at the same time. After all, their goal is to solve the mechanical life forms without injury, but as long as the core of these mechanical life forms is not destroyed, even if they lose 2 arms or their main torsos are damaged, they can continue to fight. This poses a huge threat to the alien life of Barada. They fight at all costs, and they will not be afraid or run away. So, what if you are an Epsilon-level alien? I will still rush over to kill you. Among these mechanical life forms, There is also a heavy shield-type mechanical life form, which is more than 8 meters tall, wrapped in heavy armor and uses a metal weapon similar to a shovel. They move slowly and have no ability to fight at a distance, but when they smash down with a shovel, even the aliens of the strengthening system can't resist it. Gao Chongkong and Azura turned into firefighters, like two hurricanes, killing crazily in the mechanical army, trying to expand their encirclement. However, the power of two people is limited after all. Gao Chongkong's ability will also be absorbed by the defense field, which gives him a headache. Fortunately, Ashura is a master of close combat. On his dark skin, Sanskrit spells appeared. He held a black trident in his right hand and danced in the mechanical army like a god of war. Wherever he passed, a large number of mechanical life forms were directly smashed into pieces. However, even so, from time to time, aliens died under the attack of mechanical life forms. They were surrounded by the torrent of steel and could only pin their hopes on the 3 Epsilon-level aliens. However, no matter how much the 2 Epsilons in the field killed, they could not scare away those mechanical life forms. They could not take care of the huge battlefield. When they cast their eyes to the distance, they were shocked to find that Emperor Sheron was fighting with the spider-shaped super-large mechanical life form. How could this happen? Didn't they say that these iron lumps were easy to deal with? Huan Chaos of Huashu country easily solved them? Screams continued to come. They were puzzled, and at the same time they regretted it very much. It was not until the moment of death that they realized that they were not the most powerful alien army in the world. It turns out that the gap between them and the Huashu country's alien team, which they didn't take seriously, is so big. Huge. The battle between Emperor Sheron and the super-large mechanical life form was indeed in a stalemate. He was not Zhang-Yi, who could use the advantages of divine refining and the large number of thermal weapons stored in the alien space to make up for the shortcomings of his physical attack. However, most of Emperor Sheron's abilities rely on weapons that are materialized to attack. Including his 3-life body, the weapons summoned are also difficult to play a role on super-large mechanical life forms. As for his extremely powerful time ability, End of Reincarnation, it has become a bit useless at this time. It cannot work on non-organic matter. Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it. How could this happen? It was clear that chaos took less than half an hour to deal with these mechanical life forms. Why can't I do it? What went wrong? Emperor Sheron's time ability spans too much, so he can't accurately predict all the details of the next battle. This is the disadvantage of his ability. At this time, Azura, who was sweeping around like a storm in the battlefield, saw this and raised his mouth slightly. He is a reinforcement-type alien. His ability is most useful against these iron sheets. Originally, he should have exchanged opponents with Emperor Sheron, letting Emperor Sheron deal with these miscellaneous soldiers, while Azura would deal with the super-large mechanical life forms. But Emperor Sheron was too arrogant and always looked down on everyone, even the other leaders of the 8 tribes. As someone who always wanted to replace Emperor Sheron, Azura would certainly be happy to see Emperor Sheron suffer. But in this way, those ordinary aliens would be miserable. Gao Chongkong asked Gu Man and Badu to get close to him. Gao Chongkong's power would be weakened when dealing with mechanical life forms, but he could also penetrate the defense field of the mass-produced machine and destroy it. However, the cost-effectiveness of doing so was too low. So, he began to use Gu Man's barrier and Badu's ability and the ability combination between the 3 to fight. Gu Man raised his right hand and laid one barrier after another around him, forming a cubic column to block an area. Badu threw the dice in his hand into the sky. As a user of space ability, in addition to the control ability of the rule system such as mental hospital, he can also control the size of objects and compress the mass equally. The dice in his hand is made of a huge alloy, which instantly enlarges in the sky and then falls down fiercely. The mechanical life form trapped by the barrier was smashed into a metal pancake in an instant when faced with the falling polyhedron weighing tens of thousands of tons. I finally understand why Fremons has such a hard time facing them. These guys are prepared to fight against the aliens, Gao Chongkong said with a frown.